Hey guys, this is going to be a super short video. I just wanted to share this because it was such a blessing to me. Tonight in Bible study, we started a new study, the works of Christ, and talking about what Christ, what all Jesus did for us. You know, as far as not only the example that he set and coming to earth to teach us of the kingdom of heaven and to show us mercy and grace and teach us how to love and not to mention what he did for us eternally, right? Well, one of the things we were talking about is when he was up on the mercy tree. Pastor Glenda shows me a song that instead of the mercy seat or even the cross, they call it the mercy seat, and I think that is phenomenal. But anyway, he cried out, my God, why hast thou forsaken me?" Well, in saying that, it's because all the sins of the world had been put on him, past, present, and future. People want to know why Christianity is still going strong, because Jesus paid the price for all of us, past, present, and future. He's already paid the price for sins we haven't committed yet. Anyways, so in saying that, when the sins were when God put the Father put the sins of the world on His Son, He had to turn His back on him because God cannot. And when Jesus that, it was also filling a prophecy in Isaiah 53, where it talks about the suffering of the Messiah. And the thing that I wanted to point out is the verse just before Isaiah 53 is Isaiah 52:14. It says, actually, it's the next to last verse, but it says, "As many were astonished at you, his visage was so marred more than any man, and his form more than the sons of men." And what it's talking about is they beat him so bad between with the cat of nine tail, the cat of nine tails, when they beat him, when Pilate had him beaten, but people beating him when he was carrying his cross to the hill to be crucified. And I mean, people literally ripped his beard from his face, and he was beaten so bad. His back was beaten so bad that the flesh, the muscle, even the sinew that kind of holds everything together was literally ripped loose from his back, and you could see his organs. That's how badly he was beaten. His face, his whole body. I mean, there's no a movie made that even. I mean, the closest to even give us an idea of how badly he was beaten would be the Passion, and that was just scratching the surface, because it says right here that it's talking about that he didn't. Basically, it's saying he didn't even resemble a man. I mean, it was just he was just so badly beaten. And then in Isaiah 53, it goes on to talk about, uh, it talks, it's the prophecy that was told about the Messiah. And it says, "For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant," which is why Jesus came as a baby, was born as a baby. And so that he could grow up and learn the scriptures and learn the ways of man and be as, if you want to know how the Romans do it, you know, be as a Roman. I don't know how that saying goes, but it's the same principle. If you want to understand better how people think and where they're coming from, you become one of them. And that's what Jesus did. And in Isaiah 53, it goes on to say in verse 3, "He is despised and rejected of men, of man of sorrows, and acquainted with grief. And, and we hid, as it were, our faces from him. He was despised, and we esteemed him not. Surely he has borne our griefs and carried our sorrows." So I don't have my glasses on. "Yet we did esteem him not. We did esteem him stricken, smitten of God, and afflicted." Whenever someone was crucified on the tree, uh, they are considered cursed. And because the Messiah, Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus, bore all the sins of the world, technically he was cursed. Because, as Pastor Glenda pointed out tonight, not only did he lay down his life or died on the mercy tree, but he had a spiritual death too, which is why he said, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? Because, the penalty of sin is death. There's no, well, it's only if you do this sin or that. No. Sin is sin. It doesn't matter what sin. If it goes against the word of God and if it's considered a sin, it's a sin. It could be anywhere from telling a lie to murdering someone. It, all sin is God hates all sin, but he loves the world in this way, that he gave his only begotten son, that whoever believes in him and believes that he died and rose again will be saved. And that is just the scratching the surface again of what Jesus did for us while he was here. The workings of Christ. He did so many things. He turned the world on its ear. He came not to judge the world but to save the world. Because without a savior, we're going to die a spiritual death. Our bodies are going to die either way, because all men, and when we say men, we mean mankind, which covers female and male, was appointed to death at least once. Even the Son of God died. He laid down his life. They didn't take it from him. He laid it down as the perfect sacrifice. But nevertheless, he died in the flesh. And in this case, a spiritual death as well. But the good news is he rose again, and he is sitting at the right hand of God. Actually, he's probably standing right now, about ready to come back for his church. So I say, look up, for your redemption draws near. But I just wanted to share that because I thought that was so touching. That was just, it's sad when we think about what he was willing to suffer. And, we don't really have a full understanding of just how much he endured, really, because you figure the 40 days he was in the desert, a lot of people think he was tempted by Satan the last day. No, the entire 40 days he was out there, Satan was constantly at him, you know. But because he is the son of God, he did not sin. In fact, he did as we should do when Satan comes against us, and that's speak the words of God. Because if you speak the words of God, he will flee. Have a blessed night. God bless, and we'll see you next time.